We have a wild and crazy day planned for you today. And it starts with the debut of our fabulous new theater ministry under the direction of Robin Hackett. So, come on.
Be so happy and cheerful and peppy on Sunday morning. Well, we're not. We're acting. Yeah. Okay, so what we've been doing in our workshops is we've been playing. We've been exploring our own creativity, jumping outside the box and using ourselves for fun and play. And one of the ways we do that is with improvisation. And so with improvisation, making stuff up as we go along, we have a lot of fun. And you're going to get to do a part of that with us today. All you have to do is right now be thinking of a common object noun, something that's commonly found. Because we're going to ask some of you to throw that idea out at us, and we're going to play with it in just a minute. But what we're going to play is a little game that we call 165. And it's a simple little formula. And 165 is a formula that goes like this. Say if the common object noun that we were thrown out was cats. And we would say, oh, God, great, cats. We love cats. Listen to this. 165 cats walk into a bar. The bartender says, I can't serve 165 cats. And the head cat said, wow, what are you going to do? Throw me out? What we have to do is think of the punchline over and over and over based on the common object that you threw out. So if you threw out cats, we would play with cats until we just got tired of talking about what the cat said when they were in the bar. And then we'll call it off and we'll ask you for another one and we'll just play for a while, okay? So the first thing we need is a common object noun. Who thinks they've got a good one? Anybody? Yes? Apple. Apple. We love apples.
Walk into a bar and the bartender says, I can't serve 165 apples. And the apple says, well, that's the pits.
165 apples walk into a bar and the bartender said, I can't serve 165 apples. And the apple said, let's get to the core of this.
All right, 165 apples walk into a bar. The bartender says, I cannot serve 165 apples. And the apple says, oh, that hurts me to the core.
165 apples walk into a bar. The bartender says, I can't serve 165 apples. And they say, well, that's all right. This place is kind of seedy anyway.
165 apples walk into the bar, and the bartender says, no way can I serve 165 apples. And the apple replies back, you are one bad seed.
165 apples walking in the bar. The bartender says, I can't possibly serve 165 apples. And the apple said, peel out of here, guys.
165 teenage apples walking through the bar. It says, there's no way I can serve 165 teenage apples. The teenage apples look and say, man, these walls are fruity.
165 female apples walk into a bar. And the bartender says, I can't serve 165 female apples. And one of them steps up and goes, how about if I'm the apple in your eye?
To the bar, and the bartender says, I can't serve 165 apples. And the apple says, oh, we want to get sauce.
Yeah. Okay.
Watch!
A watch. A watch. We love watches, so why not, right? Okay, watch.
165 watches walk in the bar, and the bartender says, I can't serve 165 watches. And they say, why? Don't you have the time? Yeah.
165 watches The bartender says, I can't serve 165 watches. And they say, oh, you're just all wound up.
165 watches walk into a bar, and the bartender says, I can't possibly serve 165 watches. So the watcher says, well, can you serve 165 faces?
165 watches walk into a bar. The bartender says, I cannot serve 165 watches. But we wanted to get clocked.
165 watches walk into a bar, and the bartender says, I cannot possibly serve 165 watches. And the watchers say, what are we, banned?
Okay, 165 watches walk into a bar. Bartender says, I can't possibly serve 165 watches. The watchers say, well, could you help me with my shorthand, please?
165 watches walk into a bar and ask to be served, and the bartender says, I can't serve 165 watches. And the watchers say, but it's our neighborhood.
Props for that one.
165 watches walk into the bar, and the bartender says, I can't possibly serve 165 watches. And the head watch says, well, what else are you going to do with your two hands?
165 watches walk into the bar, the bartender says, I can't possibly serve 165 watches, and the head watch says, watch it! We've got your number. Okay. Let's try another one. Okay.
Sorry.
Me?
Yeah, your hand's still up.
Yeah. Walruses.
Walrus. We love walrus. Yeah, we love walrus.
That's what we do. 165 walruses walk into a bar. And the bartender says, I can't possibly serve 165 walruses. And the head walrus says, us.
165 walruses walk into a bar. Bartender says, I can't serve 165 walruses. He said, well, we just got to stay in here and blubber.
165 walruses walk into the bar. The bartender says, I can't possibly serve 165 walruses, and the walrus says, you're all wet.
Walruses walk into the bar, and the bartender says, I can't serve 165 walruses. They said, well, I don't want a drink, I want a seal.
165 walruses walk into a bar, and the bartender says, I can't serve 165 walruses. And the walruses say, we're beached.
165 walruses walk into a bar, and the bartender says, I can't serve 165 walruses. Walruses.
Easy for you to say.
The walruses said, you're all wet.
Walruses walk into a bar. The bartender says, I can't serve 165 walruses. And the walruses say, talk to the fin.
We got another common object now? Yes, sir.
Brooms.
Brooms. We love brooms.
165 brooms walk into a bar. Bartender says, no way I can serve 165 brooms. The brooms get irate and say, man, we're going to sweep the floor with you.
165 brooms walk into the bar. The bartender says, I can't serve 165 brooms. And the broom says, what, you can't get a handle on that?
165 brooms walk into the bar, and the bartender says, I can't serve 165 brooms. And the big broom says, man, we sure drew the short straw on this one.
165 brooms. 165 rooms walk into a bar. Bartender says, I can't serve 165 rooms. The broom says, the head broom says, hey, but do you have a mop for me?
165 brooms walk into a bar, sweep into a bar, and they ask to be served. And the bartender says, I can't serve 165 brooms. And the broom speaks up and says, so I'm good enough for Harry Potter, but not you?
165 brooms walk into a bar. The bartender says, I can't serve 165 brooms. And the brooms say, well, this place is a dustpan anyway.
165 rooms walk into a bar and the bartender says, I can't possibly serve 165 rooms. So the broom said, well, why? We have our own straws.
165 bars, but broom. 165 brooms walk into the bar. The bartender says, I can't serve 165 brooms. And the brooms all together said, what, we came out of the closet for this?